This week, old offensives and old generals strike back. On the 14th, let's go back to New Madrid, Missouri. Brigadier General John Pope is alerted that New Madrid has been deserted. So it's over, right? No. This is now the Battle of Island Number 10. He captures leftover cannons and supplies, but the main enemy force eludes him. Also on the 14th, a battle in North Carolina at New Bern. Brigadier General Ambrose Burnside has the Coast Division of 13 regiments, around 11,000 men. Were divided into the 1st Brigade under Brigadier General John Foster, the 2nd Brigade under Brigadier General Jesse Reno, and the 3rd Brigade under Brigadier General John Park. There's also some detached men. With them is Commander Stephen Rowan's 14 gunboats. The Confederates are made up of only the North Carolina Department. There's 1 regiment of cavalry and 1 company of artillery, with the rest filled out by North Carolina infantry regiments. They are under Brigadier General Lawrence Branch and number around 4,000 men. On the 13th, the Coast Division learned of the enemy. They start marching towards them, but night comes before an assault happens. Plus, Burnside wishes to have his howitzers, which don't arrive till 3 a.m. on the 14th. In the morning, fog covers the field, and Burnside doesn't fully understand his enemy's positions. But no matter, now is as good a time as any to advance. The 1st Union Brigade attacks on the Confederate left. The gunboats aid with the Union's advance. Then, the Coast Division soon realizes they're going against well-entrenched men. In fact, Fort Thompson is on the far Confederate left. They're stuck trading volleys with rebels who are behind strong positions, and they're definitely losing the day. They need reinforcements. The 2nd Brigade moves as a column to the center. They come across Confederate artillery flanking the 1st Brigade's assault and easily dispense of it. Then they fire on some unprepared militia behind the fleeing artillerymen, causing the militia rout, taking another North Carolina regiment with it. The column then reaches a very strong Confederate defense and are blunted. Brigadier General Reno takes his brigade to the Confederate right wing. He has 4 Union regiments going up against 2 Confederates on the Union left flank this time. But once again, they are fighting against well-dug-in defenders. Then the 3rd Brigade comes in. They charge to the center and lay fire into the flanks of the now separate Confederate line from the middle, both the left flank and right flank. The Confederates are ordered to withdraw from their batworks. Though, as I said, they are separated. The Confederate right flank doesn't receive the order. Instead, they receive multiple volleys. Gunboats then move past Confederate batteries. Some land men to actually take leftover batteries that have now been abandoned. Others go straight to New Bern and take the city. This is actually very well done. They arrive before the Confederates can properly burn down their supplies, giving more material to Burnside's expedition. It's a Union victory. The Confederate loses 68 men killed, 116 wounded, and 425 captured or missing. Burnside loses 90 dead, 383 wounded, and 1 man captured. Now, Burnside turns his eyes towards Beaufort, North Carolina, a very important port. In other related naval news, on the 15th, Flag Officer Andrew H. Foote arrives at New Madrid. This is the same Foote that fought with Grant at Fort Henry and Fort Donelson. He comes with 6 gunboats, 5 ironclads, and the USS Conestoga, a timberclad, along with 14 mortar boats. Foote is worried by the unpredictable Mississippi River, and also doesn't wish to take any risky actions. General Pope disagrees and wants Foote to run past the enemy batteries and secure the Mississippi, maybe even move down to New Orleans. Foote instead wants to take care of Island Number 10 first. On the 17th, Foote moves forward with all but the USS Louisville. He bombards the Confederate positions and does well, but can't seem to dislodge his opponent. He loses 3 men when a gun on the USS St. Louis explodes. Foote then sits in for a long siege, despite Pope's request for him to do anything. The mortar boats continue their pounding of Confederate defenses. Also on the 17th, Brigadier General McClellan of the Confederacy, leader of the Island Number 10 defenses, is forced to relinquish command to Brigadier General McCall. McClellan is then promoted to Major General and ordered to Fort Pillow, but he has to wait because McCall isn't at the Confederate positions yet. Also around this time, Captain Morgan is raising the 2nd Kentucky Cavalry near Goshen, Tennessee. Goshen is actually a Union city, captured by Grant after the victory at Fort Donelson. While recruiting, he raids Union supplies because he has none. He is actually surprisingly successful in these efforts. Back to the 15th. Major General U.S. Grant is back in charge of his Tennessee forces. If you remember, Major General Halleck had a few weeks ago removed him from command, but public pressure made it a necessity to reinstate him. Grant, like Lyon and McClellan, is beloved by the press and by the president. The Western theater of the war might not be as viewed as important, but it has to be a great showing for the Union when the Eastern forces have no major action taking place. The next day, a skirmish at Pound Gap, Kentucky. 800 men of the 42nd Ohio under Brigadier General James Garfield comes against 500 Confederate men under Major John Thompson. They fight for a while. We don't know how many casualties each side suffered, other than it was a complete victory for the Union, as the 500 men, minus whatever casualties they suffered, are forced back into Virginia. In fact, I'm not quite sure it fully happened. There are few references to it outside of work on Garfield. Don't know why he's so popular, or from the people at Pound Gap, Kentucky. And on the 17th, something we know happens. The Army of the Potomac, along with its leader, Major General George B. McClellan, board ships from Alexandria to Fort Monroe. 121,000 men, 44 artillery batteries, 1,200 wagons, and 15,000 horses are transported to the Virginia Peninsula. He lands the same day and starts arguing with the Navy. He wants them to advance up the James and York rivers. They are unwilling to because of the CSS Virginia. The next day in Richmond, Judah P. Benjamin takes over the State Department from acting Secretary William Brown. Benjamin is not likable, and he requires his support to evade a reconsideration of his confirmation, being fired. He's in an unsturdy spot. The Trent affair is blown over. Mason and Siddle are in Europe, but reaching them is pretty close to impossible. The Union blockade has cut off much communication, and the Confederate is on the back foot because the Confederacy is on the back foot. Europe will never recognize them if they believe the Confederacy is about to lose. Replacing him as Secretary of War is George Randolph. Randolph is a nobody. He's a lawyer who is brother to Thomas Jefferson Randolph, an abolitionist. Not really. His brother introduced a gradual emancipation bill out of fear and still owned slaves when doing it. Never spoke of abolition again, then supported slavery immediately afterwards, and will support slavery till his death. Really, the man got scared, and then his political opponents labeled him an abolitionist, and he just stuck. George Randolph's claim to fame, however, is making a howitzer regiment in 1859. Under Randolph's leadership, this regiment got into a friendly fire incident, and then I guess won a small victory under someone else's command. I have no idea why Randolph was chosen. But this isn't the only Confederate cabinet change. Thomas Bragg is out, and Thomas Watts is in. Thomas Watts is coming straight from the 17th Alabama, a unit that has done nothing. Before that, he ran unsuccessfully for the Alabama governorship. He is a wealthy plantation owner who practiced law almost a decade ago. I have even less of an idea why Watts is chosen. On the 19th, the Confederates organized a defense of the Chattanooga to Memphis Railroad. If taken, the Confederacy might be able to be opened up into Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Full General P.G.T. Beauregard is forced to move south to Corinth, where the Confederacy expects the next main Union attack. On the 20th, back to New Madrid. Pope again asks Foote to move past the Confederate positions. Then he could move Pope's force across the river to attack the enemy without having to wait. Foote decides to hold a council of war, and they decide it is too risky. He will let the mortar boats wear down his opponent. Then there is Sickles. Not good news. A letter from the road to Washington by Adjutant General Lorenzo Thomas. Sir, the Senate having on the 17th instant negatived your appointment as Brigadier General of Volunteers, I'm instructed by the Secretary of War to inform you that the President does hereby revoke it. Sickles is broken. He has put in so much into the Excelsior Brigade, just for it to be taken away. He raised it, trained it, and fought with it. In fact, why is that the Senate confirmed generalship on men who haven't even fought when Sickles destroyed Longstreet's entire corps? Then Hooker. Hooker takes Colonel Nelson Taylor of the 72nd New York and gives him the brigade under Special Order 132. Sickles rightfully calls it illegal, unauthorized, and unjust. You know what? He'll talk to Major General McClellan. Then tragedy. He gets a note from Hooker. McClellan advised him on Special Order 132. That's where the week ends. Another Union victory in North Carolina. The siege in southern Missouri continues. Grant is back. The CSA's cabinet is shooken up once more, and McClellan's campaign. Let's take time to examine the campaign. He has moved to the Virginia Peninsula. No supplies or communication can be done by land. He is cut off, and doubted by the commander-in-chief. He is also beloved by his men, outnumbers and outguns the enemy. In fact, he isn't even facing a full Confederate army, just 11,000 men, 1/10 of his men. But he doubts this. The Peninsula Campaign is about to turn violent, and the question of who comes out on top is in the air. Hello, it's the entire Civil War week-by-week team here. That is a weird motto to have. And I want a new outro. So, if you liked the video, please like it. If you want to see more, you should be seeing suggested videos right about now. And if you want to know what happens next week, please subscribe. And if you want to share history, give me suggestions in a more easy way than YouTube comments, or want to tell me how wrong I am, please check out the channel's Discord.